What's up guys, Matt back again with another video, and today we're going to be ranking every single ICHIBAN Kuji from 2022. Before we dive into the video, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell, like the video, comment your thoughts down below for us to discuss, follow me on my socials, and consider becoming a YouTube member to enter into our monthly giveaways and Discord server so our community can help you on your Dragon Ball figure collecting journey. So this is a video that I should have done a year ago or close to a year ago, but I was a bit on a hiatus and I didn't, I wasn't making content, but I'm back and I'm doing content as much as I can. And I asked you guys, hey, should I make this video? I know it's not 2022, but should I make a video ranking all of the 2022 Kuji along with all of the 2022 figures? So the figure video is coming. The top 10 figures of 2022 is coming. But today we're going to be focusing on, hey, what did I think of 2022 as ICHIBAN Kuji? So before we actually dive into the tier list that you guys see right here, let's bring it back. Let's make me full screen. Here I am. So let's talk about 2022 as a year. So we came off of 2021 with some pretty good Kuji. We had things like Back to the Film, which even though it had a lot of QC issues, people still really liked that Kuji a lot because of the different characters, things like Super Saiyan God Goku, Golden Frieza, the Brolys from 93 and 94. It was a pretty cool Kuji. I can't deny that. And of course, the year ended off with a bang with Dragon Ball vs. Omnibus Super, one of my favorite ICHIBAN Kuji of all time. Just so many great picks like Perfect Cell, Omega Shenron, the Goku and Vegeta combo, and the last one, Prize Ultimate Shenron. Just a very cool Kuji for any Dragon Ball collector. What else did we have? We had the Super Decisive Battle of the World, probably the best Dragon Ball EX they've ever done with the Kaioken ×3 Goku, Vegeta. A wonderful, wonderful year. So going into 2022, they started off with something that I really liked. They had Dragon Ball EX Mysterious Adventure, aka the Mystical Adventure, which was the first Dragon Ball focus Kuji from OG Dragon Ball, which I really like. I love OG Dragon Ball. I think it's very slept on, and a lot of fans, they started with Dragon Ball Z. They didn't even watch Dragon Ball. I highly recommend you go back and watch Dragon Ball. It's a little slow to start. It's a little funny and goofy, but as it picks up, pretty much towards the Ten Shinhan Saga, pretty much when Tao Pai Pai shows up, the show starts to shift a little bit more towards combat and how we know Dragon Ball today. But I love that Kuji quite a bit. There were a lot of cool picks. After that, I think we got the Dragon Ball Superhero ICHIBAN Kuji, which I think is also one that's pretty slept on in 2023 still. People, don't really think too much about it, but it had a lot of different characters in it and a lot of cool figures that are pretty good, and they're cheap. You can find them for really cheap just because a lot of people didn't pick up that ICHIBAN Kuji. After that, we got Fear of Androids, which was so hard to find. They're so expensive to get just because they were in limited quantity for overseas releases, and the Kuji sold like hotcakes because it was one of the first ICHIBAN Kuji that didn't feature Goku. Crazy. Just androids, villains only. Really, really cool, and was a sign of things to come as we see today. After that, we got History of the Film, which was also an amazing ICHIBAN Kuji. It just basically took Back to the Film and dialed everything up by 11. So one of the greatest ICHIBAN Kuji of all time for sure. We also had the Dragon Ball, Super Dragon Ball Heroes 4th mission, ICHIBAN Kuji. Not a lot of people, think too much about that Kuji. I think there are a couple good picks in there. We'll talk about that. Obviously, you've seen my reviews and the tier lists for that Kuji, so I'm not super positive about it. I don't think it's the worst ever, but yeah, it could have been better. Oh yeah, Omnibus Ultra. Omnibus Ultra also came out that year. Man, I forgot. That set was interesting. There were some interesting picks in there, but there were some disappointing picks. But before we kind of, go down this rabbit hole, I think 2022 was a filler year, honestly. It had a lot of high highs and then a lot of low lows. And with only 6 sets, there was not a lot to get excited about. And we were just still coming out of COVID. I think that was the first year where really COVID was kind of behind us. So I think companies like Bandai were still feeling those effects because as we see in 2023, we got 9 ICHIBAN Kuji. And I don't think they're going to be stopping that. I think we'll continue to get a lot of ICHIBAN KUJI, especially because Dragon Ball is about to go through another renaissance. But let's actually pop back into the tier list now that we're done looking back. Let's talk about my ranking for 2022 from worst to best. So the worst ICHIBAN KUJI of 2022 has to be Super Dragon Ball Heroes 4th mission. So the reason it's there, you know, there's a lot of interesting picks in there. The Super Saiyan Warrior in black, aka Bardock, is really cool. I enjoy it. It's a very unique sculpt. There's nothing recycled or reused about it, and it's our very first mass release Bardock, which I wish they would have done a traditional Bardock or Dragon Ball Super Bardock before this one, but it is still cool to get something like this. And even I was looking at my comments for the review of that figure, which you can watch right here. Maybe I'll put up a card. Maybe I won't. But I was looking at my review for that figure, and a lot of people were still like, "Are you sure it's Bardock? It could be somebody else." I'm like, "No, it's him. He's got the scar." And if you actually go and watch the promotional anime, it is a secret, and then he gets revealed to be Bardock. Right? It wasn't a secret. You know, I think it was pretty obvious, but. That's a cool figure. The Super Saiyan 3 Rose Goku Black is cool, but man, he recycled so much of the other one that it's just kind of like, okay. And then you throw in the Goku and it's like, wow, we just did that last year. Why are you doing that? And then you see the Vegeta and it's like, this one's a little bit better, but you can tell they're reusing some of the greatest Saiyan. And then the 2 Gogetas, holy crap. The 2 Gogetas really dragged this set down, man. It's just like, I'm tired of seeing that sculpt. If I see that sculpt again, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna give that figure a 1 out of 5 when I review it if I ever see another sculpt of that same Gogeta sculpt again. But yeah, it's just a little disappointing, especially compared to Super Dragon Ball Heroes 3rd mission, which I think is the best Dragon Ball Heroes Kuji. But you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. Just really underwhelming in a year where, you know, we didn't have too many overwhelming ICHIBAN KUJI. We had a couple, but a lot of them just did not hit that spot for me. All right, up next on the list, I'm going to put Omnibus versus Ultra. So some people might be like, wow, Omnibus versus Ultra among all of these so low. Yeah, you know, it's not really bad. There's still a few in there that I like. Fat Boo obviously is the highlight of the set. He carries this set. He's an amazing figure. He's one of the best ICHIBAN KUJI figures you can get because he's big, heavy, so detailed. Definitely a must-have for collectors. That's why he's so expensive online. But he's not the only figure in the set. We have the Super Saiyan Gohan. It's reusing the sculpt of the Ultimate Gohan that came out in the Superhero Kuji, and then they change his arms, the shading, and his head sculpt. Obviously, not bad. You know, I'm not opposed to recycling parts of a figure like the body if it's the same character, same outfit, just in a different form. Not a big deal in my opinion, honestly. But there's also the Piccolo, who they took the leg sculpt of the Superhero Piccolo, and then they made an entire new torso for his new form, which is him in Potential Unleashed. So our first Potential Unleashed Piccolo, not bad, just not as exciting as something like Majin Buu. Imperfect Cell was in this set, and he's pretty solid. I really like the figure. I think the colors could have been a little brighter, maybe something closer to the anime, but I do like the contrast between him and like my Perfect Cell on my shelves. So it's pretty interesting to see that. And then you have the Omnibus Ultra Majin Vegeta that's reusing quite a bit of the E-moving, and I get it. The E-moving is so hard to find and it's so expensive. You know, it's probably better for most people to just pick this one up. But, you know, as a collector, I saw that and I recognized it like, hey, it's just the same one again. The Trunks has, you know, I think the community as a whole understands that his likeness is just not the best. It could have been better. I think a lot of people prefer the Master Stars piece Trunks. I think both have a lot of similar issues in regards to their likeness that I'm personally not that big of a fan. And of course, there was the Yardrat Goku, and I like the Yardrat Goku, but there's 2 of them in the set. One of them's already an E-moving. Why would you split up 2 prizes when one of them's already an E-moving. So I don't know, man. There's just a lot in that set that's just in context of the year. It reuses a lot of things, and it's super, super carried, in my opinion, by Majin Buu and Imperfect Cell. So, you know, once you remove them from the set, what do you have left? It's like, oh, well, kind of a bunch of filler, honestly. I don't hate the set. I still like it. You know, I think I would rate that set maybe like a 3.5 out of 5 today. But like if you took out Imperfect Cell and Majin Buu from that set, oh, it would be like a 2.5 out of 5 maybe. But let's move on. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to roast me in the comments. Fourth place, I am going to put Dragon Ball Super Superheroes First Ichiban Kuji. A lot of people are, I feel like they kind of sleep on this set. But if you look at it, it's like, whoa, back up. We have our first Masterly's Ultimate Gohan in his purple gi, and he's a great figure. There's so much to appreciate about it. We have our first Dragon Ball, well, not our first Dragon Ball Z style Piccolo, because we had the Warriors Who Defend the Earth, but we have a really cool looking Piccolo that looks a little more modern. Compared to the Warriors Who Defend the Earth. I prefer the Warriors Who Defend the Earth, but I really appreciate that they have Piccolo in here. Goku and Vegeta, they are doing the poses from the Broly movie, from the poster when they're in their blue forms, but these are them in their base forms. And, you know, I like them a lot because compared to the Strong Chains versions of their base forms, these two are a lot brighter in their colors. So they pop out a lot more and better, in my opinion. I think I might even like them better than Strong Chains. I know, sounds like heresy, but I think I like them better. And the Vegeta is in an outfit that I really like. I like Vegeta in the armorless jumpsuit when he's just like, you know, he's got, you know, his tucked in shirt or whatever. I think he looks cool. We got the Gamma brothers, who were characters I didn't think too much about before the movie came out, but then after watching the movie, I really liked the Gamma androids. And then I think the only low point of this Ichiban Kuji was Pan, because she's super tiny and she's her own individual figure. She's too small. She should have been a little bit bigger, but it is what it is. There's so many prizes in the set that it's just like, well, she's kind of like a bonus. And then there's Shenron, who I think improves a lot of what the Ultimate Variations Shenron did in that Ichiban Kuji. I know it reuses a lot of that, but it brightens up the colors. The pose is not as good, but it's still a great Shenron. And, you know, I even showed people in my Discord server, which you guys can join by becoming a member, and we were talking about it, and, you know, they pointed out, like, yeah, you know what? This Shenron figure is pretty solid. I actually might consider picking him up. So, you know, he's worth the look, and I think a lot of people just let this Kuji fly under the radar. I think it's great. It has a lot of affordable figures too, so if you're interested in picking up a lot of these, you know, go online. You can find them pretty easily, and they're going to be pretty cheap. But let's move on. My third place, I think, this is where people are going to destroy me. Third place for me is Fear of Androids. Now, whoa, don't, I can feel the heat already. I like this set a lot. I think it's one of the best Ichiban Kuji they've made, but there are some things that are kind of disappointing in it, that the execution could have been better. I'm not going to put into context that, hey, there was a lack of you know, availability and such. Like that has nothing to do with the quality of the Kuji, okay? They're rare, they're hard to find, they're expensive, because, you know, I understand, hey, it's our first Masterlies of these characters, and it's a whole Kuji based off of the androids. That's really exciting, but there's just a few problems I have with it. Let's go through each one. Android 17 is great. He's probably one of my favorite. I think when we did a tier list, I had him in my top 3 when I did that tier list with Brian, but he's great. Android 18, she something's up with her face, man. They're like really messed up her face. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is not that good. I think they made her like forehead too big and her eyes too wide or something. I think it had something to do with the angle they were trying to get, and it just came off as really bad. Android 16 is probably the biggest disappointment in this set. First of all, what is up with the size? He is basically the same height as I don't know, like Android 17 and 18. Like, he's the same height. He should have been a Master Release Extra. This figure needed at least 2 more inches on top of him, if not 4 more inches on his height. And then the last one prize is him, but with a freaking sticker slapped on his chest, and he's looking to the side like, whoa, really lazy. Like, man, they could have at least made one of them like a rocket punch or something. And I get it. I know EX, they do that, but EX also has the ability to change some parts of the figure to at least make them look slightly different. So I don't know, man. That's so disappointing. It's mostly the size. Like, Android 16 could have been better, and his likeness is okay. It's not the best in the world. It also could have been better. Androids 19 and 20 are the big highlights of this set. Even though 19, he's a little too big. You know, I looked at like both of the characters in the saga. Android 20 is supposed to be taller than Android 19, but you know, I still appreciate that they made this big. He's almost like the prelude to Majin Buu, a big fat figure, you know. And the details between both are incredible. And Android 20, you know, you can take his hat on and off. So the set is awesome. I really like it. But there are just little things in it that really drag it down that I think people overlook just because, like, oh, it's an Android Kuji, woo! But yeah, like Android 16 could have been better. Android 18 definitely could have been better in the face. And yeah, I think, you know, it's just not as good as the other two, in my opinion. I'm sorry. But let's move on. Second place, I'm going to put Dragon Ball EX Mystical Adventure. I really love this Ichiban Kuji. I think it's one of my favorites. It looks so great on my shelf, and you know, it's another one that I feel like people really slept on. People let it fly under the radar because a lot of people haven't watched the original Dragon Ball. But please, guys, I beg you, please go watch original Dragon Ball. It's awesome. It's so fun and charming, and you just appreciate people like Goku, Bulma, Yamcha, Ten. You appreciate them a lot more. There's some great fights. You know, the animation really starts to pick up during the Red Ribbon arc, and there's some good-looking fights in there. But this set has everything that a lot of people ask for in Ichiban Kuji: a variety of characters, high-quality figures, and they all look great together. Like, it's EX has this awesome ability of like, hey, we're representing like a specific arc or a specific battle or something in Dragon Ball, so that when you get the whole set, it just looks, you could put a whole shelf on its own of that set if you want. But you got Kid Goku, who looks amazing, looks just like him in the beginning of, or the intro, or I think it's taken from the intro. It's definitely taken from some anime intro or ending of Dragon Ball. I just can't remember off the top of my head. King Piccolo, King Piccolo is like the biggest part of Dragon Ball that people remember besides Kid Goku and like Roshi. King Piccolo, when he first becomes young again, and he's laughing maniacally and evil, and the figure looks absolutely awesome. You got Emperor Pilaf, Shu, and Mai, deep cut characters that, you know, when people see them, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you're like, oh yeah, I know those guys. They're still in Dragon Ball Super right now. Tao Pai Pai, whoa, Tao Pai Pai is slept on, man. Like, Tao Pai Pai is so cool, bro. If you know, in Dragon Ball, Tao Pai Pai, when Goku and him face off, Tao Pai Pai beats him. Goku almost dies. Goku has to go and train with Korin, to get stronger, and then he beats the brakes off of Tao Pai Pai. And after he thinks he kills him, bro survives, comes back as our last one prize, Cyborg Tao, which, yes, I know it reuses a lot of the Tao Pai Pai that's already in the set, but it still has enough different about it where I'm like, you know what? This is cool. Like, the head's different. He's got 2 different arms because he has his Super Dodonpo cannon along with his sword that gave Ten his scar in Dragon Ball. Like, really cool set, man. And it's another one that, like, a lot of people didn't pick up. It's super affordable online if you go and find it. Even the last one, prize Tao Pai Pai, you can probably get for like just $100 at the most. Like, not a bad set. I think it's so slept on. It was definitely one of my favorites in 2022 and still one of my favorites. But I think we all know what the best set of 2022 was, and it's definitely Ichiban Kuji, History of the Film. Man, what an awesome Ichiban Kuji. Like, they definitely said, you know, Back to the Film was cool, but let's dial this thing up, man. Let's turn up the heat. Amazing picks. Like they made they only included like Gohan and Goten, which I think are great. Like the Gohan in this set doing his Kamehameha is one of my favorites. He is my favorite Gohan figure that I have, period. He's so cool, great likeness, good details, and he's in a dynamic pose, like everything you ask for in an Ichiban Kuji figure. And Goten, even though he's his own little prize, he's not like Pan small, but he's really good. He's great on his own. Beerus was the only low point for me, just because I think his face looks a little weird, and they made the figure like a little too slim in my opinion. But it was our first Beerus, and he's still a really solid figure. The two coolers, you know, we got the Final Form cooler in Back to the Film, which is one of the greatest figures ever. But these two coolers, really freaking amazing. Like the base form cooler, like I like the meta cooler, but the base form cooler, whoa, like, oh man, I love looking at it. The details on it, the colors, really amazing. Super Janemba's in this set, which he could have been a little bit taller, but still looks fantastic on his own. Turles is one of the greatest looking figures in my entire collection. The way that they captured that rounder Toriyama style, along with the shading on this figure, and he's a beefy boy. And then the last one, Prize, was something that I thought I was going to hate because of the style, since I hated the Back to the Film Broly in that style. But this one turned out so great, the legendary Super Saiyan Broly from Second Coming. Like, everyone in this set just brought it, and this set definitely had a lot of love and care into it. It's not hard to find. The only problem with it is that it didn't come out overseas. It only came out in Japan, which sucks. But I mean, I buy all my Ichiban Kuji straight out of Japan anyway, so not a big deal for me. But if you don't have this set, I highly recommend you pick it up. So many great characters in it. If you're a fan of the original Dragon Ball Z movies, there's just a lot of representation and love and care put into this. It sucks that 2023 did not do a third film Kuji. I'm hoping 2024 rights that wrong and gives us another film Kuji, because there's so many characters that we don't have yet, like Dr. Wheelo and Bojack and Fat Janemba, Harudegar, and Tapion. So many cool characters that they could do. But man, I am so happy that we got History of the Film. But this is my list, guys. We have the 4th mission in 6th place, Omnibus Ultra in 5th, Superhero in 4th, Fear of Androids in 3rd, Mystical Adventure in 2nd, and my number 1 Ichiban Kuji of 2022 is History of the Film. But guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Oh, excuse me. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let me know how you would rank your Kujis in 2022. Let me know if there's any set on here that maybe you didn't pick up, that with this tier list you're like, hey, I'm actually considering picking that up. How can I learn more about it? Well, it's right here. I did reviews on every single figure on this channel. So if you want to learn more, check those out, guys. Guys, thanks again for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, please remember to like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and of course, share this with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and don't forget that we're doing a monthly giveaway. These are our prizes that we're doing this month for the giveaway, so make sure you become a YouTube member today, hop into the Discord server, and take part in our giveaway on this date. But until the next video, I will see you all later.